claude-code remote control connects the Claude mobile app and the web interface at claude.ai to a claude-code session running on your own machine. The most important thing to understand is that Claude keeps running locally the entire time. Nothing moves to the cloud. Your file system, your environment variables, your MCP servers, they all stay on your machine. The phone or browser is just a remote window into that local session. This is fundamentally different from claude-code on the web, which runs on Anthropic servers. Before you can use remote control, check two things. First, you need claude-code version 2.1.51 or later. Run claude-version to check your current version. Second, you must sign in with your claude.ai account using /login. API key authentication does not work for remote control. It requires a claude.ai account on the Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise plan. If you are on Team or Enterprise, your admin also needs to enable the feature toggle in the admin settings panel first. There are three ways to start a remote control session. The first and most powerful is server mode. Run Claude Remote Control in your project directory. This starts a dedicated server that stays in your terminal waiting for connections. It shows a session URL and a QR code. Press the spacebar to toggle the QR code display. Scan it with the Claude app on your phone, and you are instantly connected. You can also pass a custom name with the -- name flag, so it is easy to find in the session list. Once a session is running, you have three ways to connect from another device. The first is to open the session URL in any browser. It goes directly to your session on claude.ai. The second is to scan the QR code shown in the terminal to open the session in the Claude mobile app. The third is to open claude.ai or the Claude app and browse the session list, where your active remote control sessions appear with a green dot to show they are online. Here is a real example of how this changes your workflow. You start a large refactoring task before a meeting. You give Claude the full prompt in your terminal. Refactor the authentication module. Update all the tests. Do not change the API interface. Claude starts working. You walk into your meeting. From your phone, you open the Claude app and find your session by name. You watch the progress live. When Claude needs clarification, you answer from your phone between agenda items. When you get back to your desk, the full conversation history is right there and the task is done. If you want remote control enabled for every session automatically, run /config inside claude-code and set Enable Remote Control for all sessions to true. With this setting on, every time you run the Claude command, it automatically registers a remote session. You can also use the short flag --rc when starting a session, like claude-rc with a project name in quotes. This gives you a full interactive session in your terminal that is also available remotely. Set it back to false and /config whenever you want to disable it. A common concern is whether remote control is secure. The answer is yes, and here's how it works. Your machine never opens any inbound ports. claude-code only makes outbound HTTPS requests to the Anthropic API. When you connect from another device, Anthropic routes messages between the client and your local session over TLS, which is standard transport layer security. The connection uses multiple short-lived credentials. Each credential is scoped to a single purpose and expires independently. Your actual code stays on your machine at all times. Only the conversation text travels through the Anthropic API, the same as any normal claude-code session. The key difference between remote control and claude-code on the web is where Claude runs. With remote control, Claude runs on your machine. You keep full access to your local file system, your MCP servers, and your project configuration. Nothing needs to be pushed to the cloud. With claude-code on the web, Claude runs on Anthropic's cloud infrastructure. There is no local setup required. but you also have no access to local files or tools. Use remote control when you are in the middle of local work. Use claude-code on the web to start a completely fresh task. Remote control is new, and there are a few things to know before you rely on it in production. Outside of server mode, each claude-code process supports only one remote session at a time. To run multiple concurrent sessions, use server mode with the spawn worktree flag, which gives each session its own isolated Git worktree. The terminal must stay open. If you close it or your laptop goes to sleep, the session pauses and reconnects automatically when the machine comes back. If your machine cannot reach the Anthropic API for more than 10 minutes, the session ends and you need to restart it. Remote control is part of a larger ecosystem of ways to work with claude-code from anywhere. Dispatch lets you send a task from the Claude mobile app and your desktop session handles it automatically. No terminal needed. Channels connect claude-code to Telegram, Discord, or Slack so it can react to external events like CI failures or pull request comments while you are away from your desk. Scheduled tasks let you run claude-code on a cron schedule for recurring automation like daily code reviews or report generation. Each of these features gives you more control over when and where Claude does its work.